All right, so the combine is over and done with. You're gonna better get combine results right now. But the NFL is in free agency stage right now. Last two seasons, you saw Coach Prime only attack free agency for one player. Are they going to stick to their same model, knowing that this this prime time to Houston team is full of drafted players? So are they going to stick to their same model? And on the other side, the NFC side, with Eric Bieniemy, is he going to attack free agency or will he stick to just drafting? They seem like they both cut from that same cloth, so we shall see as we go through these rounds. There's a lot of big time players on the market right now. Jalen Waddle being the number one guy out there. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm. I don't know what we want. Uh, Big time coaches, not really. Big time quarterbacks. Justin Fields is in free agency. Daniel Jones, Trey Lance, Tom Brady still hanging on. At the running back position, it looks like Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones, Trey Sanders. Now Trey Sanders had a pretty good season, considering they didn't re-sign him. A lot of these teams don't re-sign their players, man. They don't want to spend money. And how about Jaden Waddle in free agency? Amon St. Brown, DeAndre Hopkins. You got some pretty good receivers in free agency. Rashad Bateman, Devin Duvernay. You got some pretty good receivers and some young talent as well. JoJo Earl, Jadakiss Bonds. Some young talent in the free agency pool right now. Now, Coach Prime has been a Jalen Waddle fan for years. Do they attack Jalen Waddle? Doubt it. They have a Jalen Waddle. My question would be, does the Commanders play in free agency when it comes down to the offensive line? Is there anybody intriguing enough for them to go get in the free agency pool on the O line? Look at Will Campbell. He need that superstar on him. He's sitting here at right tackle. Shane Coates is sitting in free agency. This is a Coach Prime's player. Some pretty solid players out here. Outside linebacker JOK is in there. Cornerbacks, man, pretty solid, but guys that can come in and help out safety position. Got a couple guys with good speed. Jeremy Chin will highlight that at the strong safety position. Skedaddles, you think the Commanders is going to attack the free agency pool?
I mean, I'm sure they would. Any smart GM would, see what's out there, see if it's anybody worth reaching, putting in an offer for.
Now, as we grade move on to week two, you ready?
Yep.
All right. Let's see. Let's see during the first stage of free agency if anyone was signed. See some of these big time names get taken off the board. Look at some of these guys. Let's look at the league signing. Signed. Joe Mixon goes to the Chicago Bears. DeAndre Hopkins goes to the Buffalo Bills. Pat Freiermuth goes to the Eagles. DeForest Buckner, Falcons. Xavier Truss. And the first chess move is made by the Washington Commanders. They go get themselves a bookend, young, very good, 6'7", 320 pound out of the University of Georgia, right guard. I mean, strong as an ox, man. The guy is agile, pretty fast, can make things happen. tough right guard. What does Bieniemy see in Xavier Trust that made them go sign him?
The type of player he likes, you gotta do the tip. They got the weapons already, so you gotta go out and get the protection.
No doubt, no doubt. When you look at JOK, he goes to the Saints. Will Campbell, the young right guard, right tackle, goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. Brandon Cooks gets a deal with the Titans. Quinn Mears gets a deal. James Bradbury goes to the Titans. Eric Armstead back to the 49ers. Nasir Stackhouse to the Steelers. Quandre Diggs. Jihad Carter, the young safety, goes to the Chicago Bears. Look like the Chicago Bears is very active in free agency, but it doesn't look like guys like Waddle has been taken off the board yet. Amon St. Brown, Aaron Jones, Trey Sanders, a lot of big names still available. Let me know when you're ready for two. We'll go
I'm
past
ready.
this. All right. All right, as we go to stage three. All right, so we got fifth year options already. We looking at Derek Stingley, I'm assuming. Yes, sir. Definitely want to sign him back. Get the paperwork done. Let's get to it right away. And we also have Green, our offensive lineman, Kenyon Green. We definitely want him back. Get the paperwork done. Give him his fifth year option. So the Houston Texans get both their young, talented rookies on fifth year options. And we're looking at the third stage of free agency right now. Let's see who got signed. So Jalen Waddle goes to the Arizona Cardinals. Skedaddles, what do you think about that? Jalen Waddle goes there on a 4-year deal, $32.9 million bonus.
So it's a nice pickup. It's a good pickup for the Cardinals. Yeah, I think that might be the missing piece they needed over there.
Yeah, I feel the same way about the Jaguars signing Amon St. Brown. Gives them a healthy slot receiver, 25-year-old. They get him on a 4-year, $50.8 million deal, 31.2 signing bonus. And Amon St. Brown with Trevor Lawrence over there. I think that's a good matchup right now. Aaron Jones goes to the Rams, and then you get Trey Sanders, and the Minnesota Vikings go pick up Trey Sanders. We got some good pickups here as we're ready to go to stage four. You ready, right?
Yep.
All right. All right. As we go through last week of free agency and see where some of these guys went. All right. Free agency recap. Quarterbacks that went to places. Davis Mills goes to the Rams. Cameron Rising goes to the Panthers. And Mac Jones goes to the Raiders. We're looking at J.J. McCarthy as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. And Justin Fields is now a Pittsburgh Steeler. At the running back position, Joe Mixon was the highlight. Aaron Jones and Trey Sanders all was signed. DeAndre Swift also goes back to the Detroit Lions. Antonio Gibson doesn't get picked up by the Washington Redskins. He goes to the Steelers. Our top receivers are Jalen Waddle. We talked about him. Amon St. Brown and D Hop. Elijah Moore goes to the Ravens, and Curtis Samuels goes to the Detroit Lions. Rashad Bateman is a Pittsburgh Steeler, and Devin Duvernay goes to the New York Jets. All right, next time you see these teams, we're going private workouts right now, mock drafts and private workouts. Let's go look at some of these private workouts. I mean, the talk of the town is Coach Prime and them, Houston having the number one pick in the draft, and with Travis Hunter in this draft. There's some dogs in this draft. There's some dogs in this draft. When we come back, the first and second rounds will be on deck, and you will be talking to Raheem Skadime and Rasul Skedaddles as they walk y'all through the first and second round of today's 2025 draft class. Skedaddles, you got the top 10 picks coming up, man. These teams that have top 10 picks right now, the chances of hitting and missing, right? Is this one of those drafts where it's almost like you can't miss?
Yes and no. There's always a chance of missing. The chances of you hitting are greater though.
I want to know how many teams in that top 10 are going to go get their needs or going to go just get the best available. It's a lot of questions that's going to have to be answered. If you know, if you're the Super Bowl champs, what do you need, right? You have, is it a need? Is it when you got the youngest team in the NFL and you guys got to the highest feet in the NFL? What do you go get? Do you build depth? Do you go get playmakers? I mean, they landed the number one pick off with the Commanders in the Bieniemy trade before Bieniemy took over this team, and put themselves in a situation to go get probably the best player in the draft, the best athlete in the draft. We're not gonna call him the best player, the best athlete in this draft. But what are the chances that Coach Prime passes up a chance to coach Travis Hunter again?
Slim and none.
Yeah, I think we can all sit here and say Travis Hunter will be the number one pick of this year's draft. He's going to join a secondary that had 73 interceptions on the year, where they had the two corners that led the NFL in INTs were Christian Gonzalez, 21 INTs in the regular season, and Derek Stingley with 17 INTs in the regular season. Both those guys had two, four, six, eight interceptions apiece in all three of their playoff games and two in the Super Bowl. You can honestly say that they are shut down corners. Eli Ricks is a nice slot, but they use Shiloh Sanders as a slot corner more than they use him as safety. So, in your opinion, if they do go get Travis Hunter, what does that do? Does that put him in the slot, or does that move somebody like a Derek Stingley to the slot?
It puts him on the team. We all know that Travis Hunter can be used anywhere on the field.
Right.
So I wouldn't expect him to just be a focus on defense. He might be a secret weapon on offense, kind of like Dion was in his day.
Hmm. All right. When we come back, the Houston Texans are on the clock. Skedaddles. Today is a big day for Eric Bieniemy. You interviewed Eric Bieniemy today. He said his war room will not be able to sit down the entire first two rounds. Talk to me about Eric Bieniemy and the position he put himself and his team and his franchise in, attacking the draft the way he's going to better attack it.
Let's make a break for him. I think he need to come out and set a tone early. If not, I think management gonna look at him and try to figure out what the hell's going on.
They gave him the keys to the entire house and Ferrari, the cars in the parking lot, all that. It's up to him to make it work, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you haven't seen a owner give a guy this much responsibility over a team, especially being somebody that was already on the staff as the offensive coordinator. Can we touch on that before the draft start and before the commissioner walk on the stage? What did they see in Eric Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator to give him all this much power?
He has a vast resume coming from Kansas City days. He put that offense, and he had a lot of wrinkles when he was in KC with the great Mahomes. So he had a lot of expectations coming into Washington, and let's see if he can live up to it.
Yeah, man. I just think it's his time. You know, when a guy should have been a head coach a couple of years ago, You sit back, most people thought, what the hell was he doing when he took the offensive coordinator job for the Commanders? But I think he had a bigger plan, and he stuck to his plan. He kept saying, "It's God's and my plan." And that plan was he's right where he wanted to be at. He wanted to be in the nation's capital. He wanted this Washington Commanders football team. He felt as though that he could build this team into a powerhouse in the NFL. And it started with what he started to do with the trades he made and the way he got draft picks, the things he did, and that such. But right now, he's the eye of the league right now. All eyes are on Washington and Eric Bieniemy. I think we're going to get the commissioner coming across the stage.
On the card now, the Houston Texans.
All right, the Houston Texans, man. Skedaddle, you got them going. Travis Hunter, right? There's no way they pass on Travis Hunter.
That's a lock.
Yeah, I think Coach Prime. I mean, if you look at his history of drafting, the majority of his team is made up of guys that he coached before. Like he's going to go get the guys he's familiar with, and I just think Travis Hunter has been a guy to be able to, coach him at Jackson State, then coach him again at Colorado, and now have an opportunity to coach him again in the NFL. I mean, I think talking to Travis Hunter, he said he wouldn't want nothing more but to play for Coach Prime, and maybe he's about to get his wish. I think the pick's in right now. Is there anybody before they make this pick? Is there anybody else you think that they can go get outside of a Travis Hunter?
No, I don't think you let Travis Hunter slide in this draft.
And the pick's in
The Commanders are now
on the
also
board. Eric
in
Bieniemy with his first pick of the 2025 draft. All right, Bieniemy, I think their team is loaded. They could go weapon. I thought they would go get a Jalen Waddle out of free agency. They didn't. Um, I think running back would be way too high to pick here. I think you can go anywhere. You got offensive line. You can go defense. They can go anywhere in this draft. Where do you see them feeling like they need to build at?
I really don't know. This team coming in with a new offensive guru and head coach and stuff. So I don't know where Eric Bieniemy's head at. So your guess is as good as mine. But I believe any pick that he picks right now has got to be a impact player, day one starter.
Yeah, I definitely think they got to get themselves a guy that comes in and helps change this franchise around. I mean, you got big D tackle Walter Nolan on the board. Derek McClendon from Colorado is there, but they got good pass rushers. Definitely don't need the quarterback. You look at the receiver room. I don't. I mean, it's some good receivers, but I don't think there are guys that that they need to attack right away. I think offensive line is where they go if they're not going to attack their secondary. We shall see though. 36 seconds before their pick is up.
the Jaguars are on the clock.
And they go get the multiple player Sony Styles who can play multiple positions in that secondary. Oh my God. There's no way in the world that you're watching two great ex NFL players, one being a Hall of Famer and the other one being one of the better running backs, especially in college, and one of the best offensive coordinators. And Luther Burden goes to the Jaguars. They go get Luther Burden. To me, that means, you got Ritter over there, you had Kirk over there. They also picked up Amon St. Brown. Luther Burden was the next pick here. They're getting weapons for their quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, here. Buffalo Bills on the board now. I think they go offensive line. I think they got to continue to build for Josh. They go D tackle Walter Nolan. The Vikings are up. The Vikings got weapons, man. They got weapons. Do they continue to get more weapons or do they go up front? The Vikings got weapons here. What do you think, Skedaddles? O line protection, D line,
Uh,
DBs.
O
Josh Connolly,
line.
our first offensive lineman, goes off the board. Shanahan wants to run the football. So, in my opinion, I think he attacks the O line as well. Although they did a really good job of attacking the offensive line through free agency last year and the draft. So, they could go anywhere, in my opinion.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on
Harold
the clock.
Perkins.
Harold Perkins. They go get the outside linebacker. Harold Perkins off the board. I gotta go look at the fuck I want to do here. Shit. Harold Perkins. Let me know who they get. New draft board. Mm-mm-mm.
On the clock now,
Nick
it's the
Singleton,
Tennessee
halfback, Penn
Titans.
State.
They go get Nick Singleton. Tennessee is up here.
The Los Angeles Chargers
Derek
now have the
McClendon.
puck.
No, they didn't. Motherfuckers. Oh my God, they attacking this hard here. Hey, take my boy Derek.
On the clock now, the
Jalen
Houston
Sneed.
Jalen
Texans.
Sneed goes.
And what does Coach Prime do right here at number 10? Top 10 draft pick. Still a lottery pick. Uh,
Man,
Still going to be a high paid rookie, so he got to make this pick count.
and his boy goes off the board here. Oh my God.
They're scrambling in Houston right now. I think one of their players they wanted went off the board a little earlier than they expected. They was on the phone trying to move up, but no one would answer. And I think everybody is in collusion not to let Houston take full advantage of this draft.
I mean, they're going to stick to their board. Coach Prime said he's always going to stick to his board, and at the end of the day, I think they're looking at somebody from the Pac-12, and the next best player for them, in my opinion, will be a Bear Alexander. Their cards in. Let's see if they go that route,
With the next
and they
selection
go
in
get
the
Bear
2026
Alexander,
draft,
the D tackle from USC. All right, Pittsburgh Steelers are back up on the board here. Where do they go? I can speed this up too for you. I think the
the
Steelers is
Cincinnati
Oscar
Oscar
Delp, tight
Delp,
Bengals.
end.
that's first tight end off the board.
Tight end goes in the first round, man. It goes pick 11. Do you feel like that was a reach, or that's a great pick for Oscar Delp?
Yeah, I don't, Pittsburgh got to do what they got to do. I think it's a great player at 11 to get it right there. It's a perfect pick for anybody.
The Dallas Cowboys are
They go get the
Amani
next.
Jackson.
fastest corner in the draft, and Damani Jackson. That's a great pick for the Cincinnati Bengals, who actually went to two Super Bowls, won one, lost one, and then they had a bad season this year, so they're looking to rebound. How about Jerry Jones and Jerry World? Where they gonna go? Jerry's World,
Next up, it's the
Devin Wilcock, the
Philadelphia
left
Eagles.
guard, big time
It's
player.
just second offensive lineman off the board
Rest in peace,
today.
Devin Wilcock, but that's a great pick. Broncos are up right now. They continue to build on the offensive side of the board. If I think they can go get a receiver here, or they're gonna go get
Quarterback.
offensive lineman.
The
You think they go quarterback here?
Indianapolis
Jeremiah
Oh,
Colts
Alexander,
linebacker.
Alabama. It seems like the teams are sticking to the board, right? Seems like they're getting the guys that was ranked in the top 50. Those first rounders are going off the board. Like it don't seem like guys are deviating from there. I think Prime at 10 with Derek Bear Alexander probably could have got him at 32. Denzel Burke, the cornerback from Ohio State, goes to the Browns. Philadelphia Eagles is on. They had a really good draft last year and a good offseason. Now you got the Commanders coming up with the enemy's second pick right now. They went and got, and with their first pick, they went and got that kid. Cornerback Will Johnson goes off the board here. What does the Commanders do though, man? If I'm a betting man, they got to stay on the same defensive side of the ball. They went and got Sony Styles, or do they flip and come back to the offensive side, knowing Eric Bieniemy is the offensive coordinator? A lot of questions to be answered here in Washington right now. Weapons or protection is the name of the game. I tell you one thing.
On the clock now,
Oh Lord, they go prime time and go get Jaquez Robinson. This is a kid that can play safety or corner. So you're starting to see their trend right now. Both their picks are guys that are tweeners that can play all over the secondary. I mean, you're starting to see what this Commander team wants to do. Right now, they have one of the best up front sevens in the league right now, and now they're building that back end. I think they're looking to cover guys and really do a lot of stunts running over. And we see left tackle from Iowa go off the board, David Davidoff, and then the hoodie is on deck right now, and you got New England. Some say the game is passing Belichick. Man, what do you think?
I think he still got a couple of cheat codes left.
The
He
Washington
goes and get Evan
Commanders
Stewart right now, and there's those Commanders back on the board right now. I mean, you just watch them go get two tweeners on defense, and most people would have thought that they attacked the offensive side of the ball with Eric Bieniemy being the head coach right now. But they, to me, they had the best two picks of the draft in the sense of style of play, right? No pun intended. Sony style, and you're looking at Jacquez Robinson, who could play safety. He could play that star position like Jalen Ramsey. Devin Campbell, the left guard out of Texas, one of the big linemen in the league in the draft right now. This is a big time. He was the number two guard in the draft, and I think this was a great pick right now. They're starting to get protection for AR-15. Not only are they getting protection, they're getting guys that are durable, that can run, that are linemen, that are athletic, agile guys. Will Campbell goes off the board, back-to-back linemen there. Pick 22, you got the Saints up. When we come back to that Commanders team, is that a pick, an agile guard like that for an agile quarterback?
Yeah, you got to be able to get to the edge, and when they run those traps and stunts, they got to be able to get out there and block on the edge for the quarterback or running back or whoever they blocking for.
Alabama's Kendrick Blackshire goes off the board, middle linebacker. This kid was a man child in high school. At 16, he could have played college football with his body type already. I like the pick for the Saints.
Now, it's the Miami
Middle linebacker Jahad
Dolphins.
Campbell, Alabama back to back goes off the board for the Rams. Now the Miami Dolphins all Jaden Waddle. Do they go receiver here?
Yeah, you got to replace a Waddle.
I think they got to go too. Now what receiver is
Is
there?
it a Jadon? Is it a Waddle replacement?
They don't.
No,
They go middle linebacker Ohio State C.J. Hicks. It's
that's
receivers in this
developable.
draft with speed that they can come back and get next year. How about the Kansas City Chiefs? Mahomes, they got embarrassed in the AFC divisional round, giving up 100 points to the Coach
With
Prime
the
Texas.
next selection
They go get
in
running
the
back off
first
Lawrence
round
to Philly.
on the
It's a
clock.
big time pick right there. All right, as we come into the back end of the first round at pick 26, you got the Carolina Panthers on the board right now. Make sure you let me know who they pick.
With the next selection, the Ravens are
Cade
on the clock.
Klubnik,
Quarterback
quarterback.
Clay Covenant. Wow.
The first quarterback off the board today.
Oh, wow.
26,
Mm-mm-mm.
Carolina. They haven't took a quarterback in the first round since
Atlanta Falcons now on the clock.
Cam Newton.
Savion Washington. Now, Coach Prime said if this kid was here at 32, that's who they was going to go get. Their right tackle for Sean Lewis. And as you can see, he's off the board here. Wow. They are plucking through Prime. What do Houston do? Two of their top picks are gone and go to other teams. Raleek Brown, USC, the running back, goes to the Atlanta Falcons. They team him up with B. John Robinson. You like that pick?
No,
Not in
I
the
think
first
they could
round,
have.
right?
Yeah, I think they could have got something else here and come back and get
Yeah.
Relief. They don't need two running backs in the
Mm-mm.
backfield like that.
I agree with you a tenfold here. Sam McCall, the cornerback safety from Texas A&M. He used to be a Florida State player. All right. We saw how the Washington Commanders have been attacking this draft. They went and got them a big time ath- athletic guard last pick. They come back up with their last pick of the first round. How do they attack it? To me, Benjamin is doing a great job. In my opinion, I think he's hit on every pick. I still can't get my head wrapped around. And then they go get center Demetrius Hunter. They are building this protection for AR-15. Look, AR-15 had a great rookie year. The problem with AR-15 was the Seahawks picked up Lamar Jackson out of free agency and shut his career down. And the Commanders went and got him. Do y'all think he's going to build off that first year and be better? Kevin Coleman, the old Primes player. Do you think they just took another Prime player? Do you think Prime is not having a good day?
He's upset.
I mean,
Um,
he is scrambling. Now I got another two linemen. I got to change Will Campbell and Farthery. I got Farthery already. Fuck. Coach Prime is not wasting any more time. He's sick of the sick ofs. And Xavier Weaver, another Colorado player, he goes and get him. I don't know. I think what he really wanted was taken. So good thing for Xavier Weaver that Coach Prime knows everything about him because now he becomes the last pick of the first round while we're waiting for the second round to begin with Washington Commanders on deck.
The Arizona Cardinals are now on the clock.
They are killing the offensive line right now. Gerard Wilson out of Georgia right now. This Washington Commanders team is telling us exactly what their plans are. They have no problem letting you know that they're going to protect their quarterback, but on defense, it's still to me. Listen, skedaddles. With Xavier Thomas and Clemson going off the board right now, we'll get to the Arizona Cardinals. But the Commanders made put the NFL world on notice, drafting Sony Styles and then Jacquez Robinson. I mean, they already have one of the best front sevens in the NFL. What does those picks do for them on the back end to go along with Kool Aid? Second quarterback to go off the board, Malik.
man, that's a deadly secondary. That's a no fly zone. See if you can get the ball off against this front seven, then you have to worry about the secondary back there with the back four. Yeah, it's going to be real nasty.
Now, Malik Murphy was arguably the number one quarterback in this draft.
Now the Vikings
Two
turn.
back-to-back quarterbacks are going to teams that have franchise quarterbacks. You got to question those two picks. Hudson Card, I mean, obviously you're going to the Bills to be a backup, and same thing with Malik uh, Murphy. And Malik Murphy has starting qualities with him.
It's now the San Francisco 49ers
Vikings attack the
quarterback.
offensive line while we're waiting on the 49ers to pick at six, and then seven Tampa Bay Buccaneers with the enemy and the Washington Commanders back up. So Skedaddles, what do you think, man? If we get to talk to Coach Prime right before the draft's over, do you feel like he's upset, or you think he's still making do with the draft with Travis Hunter, Bear Alexander, and then Xavier
Uh,
Weaver?
I think the league's on in cahoots. This team's coming off a Super Bowl win, and they're picking early in the first and second rounds, and a lot of
The
these
next
teams are not
selection. It's the Washington
not wanting them to
Commanders.
get any better. So they got spies in the war rooms, and I think they all just try
When
not
you
to let them get any better.
when they attacked last draft, getting a lot of Colorado players and players that they're familiar with, either in the Pac-10 or I mean the Pac-12 or just Colorado itself, I think teams picking up on that. When you win a Super Bowl with your talent you had in college, other teams are going to go get those same players. All right, Bieniemy seemed like he's hit on every pick thus far. Right now, four great picks in the first round, and he's on his second pick in the second round right now. They attack the offensive line, three picks in a row. Where do they go now?
Now on the clock,
Brian Nesbitt, the tight end from North Carolina, I really like the pick. Really, really like the pick. I mean, this kid had a late start to his career, but he's one of those athletic guys. He played quarterback at first when he got into college. They moved him to tight end. I think if he within that system over there for the Washington Commanders, he's not going to be asked to be the number one tight end over there. I think that's a great pick. Jonathan Brooks, tight end, the running back from the Texans, goes to the Chargers. All right, the Jets are up. What did you guys see in Brian Nesbitt?
It gives them the type of tight end that they need over there. I think with the B enemy type
The
offense, you need
Pittsburgh
those
Steelers are
fast
now on the clock.
receiver type tight ends.
Right.
The Darnell Washingtons. The
You guys went and got Eric Gilbert in the trade, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so you
Eric
got two
Gilbert's
dogs,
already
tight
there.
ends.
So
Yes, sir.
yeah,
The Commanders
the
are going crazy in this draft.
The next selection,
Mikael
the
Williams. All
Cincinnati
right, let me know who they
Bengals
picking.
are
I gotta
on
go
the
look at some
clock.
shit.
It's the Dallas Cowboys.
Branson Robinson, halfback, Georgia.
Wow,
Boy, this is second halfback from Georgia to get drafted tonight.
they not playing, boy.
But the Bengals bring in another running back over there for that backfield. Um, it's going
The
to be a tough
Denver
division over
Broncos
there.
are now on the
Cowboys draft
clock.
Reed Carico, outside linebacker out of Ohio State,
Mm,
showing up that defense. Go with that stout D line.
they not playing out there.
Now on the clock, the
And the Broncos bring in
Texans.
Lawrence Seymour, left guard from Miami,
Oh,
getting some protection for that old line and running back. And Coach Prime is on the clock.
Coach Prime on a Clizzock.
The Philadelphia
And
Eagles
they
on the
go
clock
right
now.
guard, Tyler
Colorado,
Brown from
Tyler Brown.
Colorado.
Now he followed Coach Prime from Jackson State to Colorado, Colorado to Houston Texans, and it seems like Prime is still sticking with his guns. He's still sticking with the players he want, his guys. I mean, and as you can see, there's been a bunch of teams that cut into that, but he's still going after his guys.
The Bears now on the clock.
Eagles right tackle.
The Green Bay Packers are on the clock.
What they pick?
They took Landon Jackson right in Arkansas. Let's see what these Packers do. They have no more.
Next up, the
Oh, they
Patriots
took
are
Matthew
on the
Wyckoff,
clock.
right guard from California.
Yeah, he's not playing. New England up.
On the clock now, the Houston Texans.
Sierra Wright, cornerback, USC.
And this card was turned in really fast.
Now on the clock,
Oh,
it's
they
the
go back to
Los
They
Colorado
go
with
get
Angeles
Van
Van
Wells.
Rams.
Wells. All right, as we have pick 21 with the Las Vegas Raiders, man. We haven't seen them for a while. Let's see what they go after.
The New Orleans Saints are
Dylan
now on the
Fairchild, Georgia,
clock.
left guard with the Saints on deck.
Now on the clock, the Rams.
Who just went off the board?
Chris Marshall, wide receiver, Ole Miss.
Next up, it's the Dolphins
Keyshawn
offense.
Silver, D tackle, Kentucky.
The Chiefs are on the clock.
Jalen Walker, middle linebacker, Georgia.
He's not playing. Kansas City Chiefs up.
The Carolina Panthers now on the clock.
Jeremiah Williams, DN from Florida, edge rusher.
The Baltimore Ravens now on the clock.
Ruben Fattery.
I gotta change his name. I got him.
With the next
Ethan
selection,
Calvert,
the Falcons are
linebacker, Cal
on the
Pally Slow. He
clock.
also played for Utah before he went to the Baltimore Ravens. And the Falcons are up on the deck. I didn't like the last pick the Falcons had with the running back. Let's see if they make up for it. They go get wide receiver Malik Benson. They go get themselves a speed demon. Oh my God. They go get themselves a speed demon. There's some speed still left in this draft, but they go get themselves a speed demon. With the Commanders up next, I thought the Commanders would grab Malik Benson.
On the clock now, the Seattle Seahawks.
Jacoby Matthews, Texas A&M safety. They look, man. They are building that back end. They are not playing with the way they are attacking that back end. What did you guys see in him?
I think they saw another safety to go back there. I think they want a fresh start back
And
there
now on the
on that
clock,
back end.
it's the 49ers.
I just think they want to be flying all over the field, and moving a lot of people around. I think they got Sony, so they're going to be able to put him in the box and still have another safety back there.
Yeah, I agree. I think being able to have back deep safeties matter. Flat out matters.
On the clock now, the Houston
All right, Coach Prime is
Texans.
back up. Who just went off the board?
James, left tackle from Jackson State.
Oh wow. All right. So our last pick here. Know exactly where we think we ready to go, and we're gonna go get him. Let's go get him now. Why wait? Let's go get him. Go get him. Say we out
They
small. We
gave
about to
up
trade the
Moss.
shit out of niggas right now. Oh my god. We about to trade half that team from last year. Listen, they won the rush the passer. They got legit pass rushers. Elliot Donald there. Yaya Diaby there. They got Bear Alexander, Capehart, Mozzie Smith. They also pick up Savell Smalls
And now on the
and
clock, the
Savion Williams,
Seattle
TCU. Big
Seahawks.
pickup. Oh my God. They went and got them a big body receiver. What you see in him? Big body, really good speed. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, I think I think they just went and got another big body wide receiver to go with the big bodies they already got. Being the type of wide receivers they like in the red zone. I think he fits right into the blueprint of what direction they going in.
I think it's two stories to tell in the first and second round of the day's draft. Day two, round 4 and 5 will be tomorrow when we get back at it. But the first two rounds go by. I think the first story is to tell the picks that the Washington Commanders had and what they did with those picks. And then the picks that the Super Bowl champions, Coach Prime and them Houston Texans had, and what they was trying to do with those picks, and did they make up for what they didn't wasn't able to get in this pick? It seemed like teams were taking those players that they had on their board, and Prime kept it real, and he said a lot of those guys that went off the board was definitely on our board. Obviously, we coached them. We know who they are. But let's start with that right now with Coach Prime. We're I think the first pick that went off the board was the linebacker from LSU, Hal Perkins. And how did they make up for that, right? They go Bear Alexander after getting Travis Hunter. Um, but this team, when you look at this roster, this team is deep. They can go too deep on that D line. To bring Bear Alexander in, you have to know somebody's leaving that room. That means somebody's going to get traded because they got Kate Part, who could play defensive end or D tackle. Mozzie Smith was an All Pro last year at D tackle. They also have Conti, the fast DN that really didn't play. And then you bring in a Bear Alexander, right? I mean, obviously we know Travis Hunter can play anywhere on the field, defense and offense. So they got a super weapon there. But then they bring in Savell Smalls, Xavier Weaver, and the offensive lineman Tyler Brown. I still think they had a good day, but I do think the storyline when it comes down to the Houston Texans is that teams picked up on what they did last year and they did not allow them to completely do what they wanted to do in this draft. Would you agree or disagree with that?
I highly agree.
And the only time to tell was they able to make up for some of the losses they took in this year's first and second round. Now, when it comes down to the Commanders, the last pick you see them taking was Savion Williams. This is the TCU receiver that actually transferred to SMU. This kid's a big body receiver with very good speed. He ran a 4.3, so he got good speed. What does he bring to the table with Javon Antonio already out there? What does he bring to the table with the receiver room you guys already have?
With Antonio and Ford Wheaton, I think it gives them the type of set that they want to have in the red zone. They want to put the three wide. If they go three wide, they got three big bodies, or they can go two wide and two tight end also with Al Gilbert and the guy they just drafted, and they also still have Will Mallory on the roster, 6'4".
Right.
So they got height. They got basketball players on the field.
So when you look at this offense thus far, right? Obviously the big trade to go get AR-15. I mean, you guys not only have good starters, but the depth is there, right? Because KJ Jefferson started the season off as a starting quarterback here. He has potential. So you got two big 6'4" quarterbacks that's 245 and 236. So from 1 to 2, the offense doesn't have to change, right? I think y'all made that move on purpose to make it look like that, where you got the dual threat AR-15 who could do everything. He can run like Lamar or Cam Newton and throw the ball with the strength of the best of them. And KJ Jefferson, a big body guy too, who if he can stay in that same system of that dual threat offense and be able to run the ball as well, if called upon. Um, you guys picked up Braylon Allen in the trade last season. In my opinion, you don't need running back. Maybe a guy that can play some special teams in that backfield. With Sean Tucker and Allen, you got Thunder and Lightning backfield. I enjoy the fact that Terry McLaurin is still one of the top 10 receivers of the league. He's still on this roster, right? He's the veteran that can help these other young guys grow up. But Antonio and Ford Wheaton are there, like you said, big body receivers. Johan Dotson and Xavier Smith are on this roster as slot guys. We know Xavier Smith been doing a lot more special teams, punt return, kick return for this team. But bringing in the tight end to go along with Gilbert and Mallory right now, you guys can go three deep at the tight end position. Is this showing us that the enemy is definitely ready to have some type of wild offense going on to be able to implicate all these guys?
Yeah, he's like a magician with his playbook. He draws up plays that not a lot of teams seen, and the execution on these plays is crazy. Everybody remember the merry-go-round play. I expect to see a lot of that in Washington.
Yeah, I think he hit everything on the nail right here. I mean, in a quick, you got to think about it. This man took over the job midway through the season, and to do the things that he did to this roster from middle of the season to right now, all the way up to the second round in this draft, you got to think he answered all the questions that people had. You attack the offensive line heavy. You get interior linemen from center to both guards. But on defense, I still think people are not accounting for what you drafted defensively. You got a cornerback to go along with Prophet Brown and Kool Aid, right? But in Jacquez Robinson, you're getting a guy that can play the Jalen Ramsey position, the star position, that can play safety and corner. And with Sony Styles, like you said, sub linebacker, safety. I mean, he's even played DN for Ohio State. Do you feel like that was a steal of the draft?
Definitely at number two to get Sony Styles. His brother had a lot to do with it. We already had Lorenzo on roster, so he put a lot of he did a lot of talking with the coach, letting him know, hey, my brother can play. He's really good. He can do this. He can do that. I think that factored in a lot in what direction they went with this pick.
You guys got all pro Chase Young who went crazy last year. Montez Sweat is still here. So when it comes down to bookend edge rushers, you got it. Jonathan Allen is still the veteran here. Fabian Levitt is developing into something special at the D tackle position. Then you look at the linebackers. Robert Bill is continue to grow. But Amari Braxton and Overshawn holds the middle down. Two of the better young linebackers in the middle. And then outside, you got Drew Sanders, who was an all pro guy in his first season. Now you look at that secondary: Prophet Brown, Kool Aid McKinney. You got Lorenzo Styles. Storm Duck is going to get playing time here, and then you go get Jacquez Robinson, and in the safety position, Juan Thornhill came out of free agency, but Bowman's been playing well for you guys. Percy Butler has a good speed back there, but now some of these guys will be special team players with the emergence of Sony Styles. And not only that, y'all went and got Matthews from the Texas A&M, who's a really good solid safety. The idea with getting him is for him to be able to play back deep, right?
Yep.
Washington had a day. If I had to give a team a grade, you got to give Bieniemy. Would you agree with the A plus?
Yeah, I believe so.
Now, how much the fact that Coach Prime not getting some of the players that he was actually targeting will kill his letter grade, right? Because I still like what they did, right? You get Travis Hunter, you get Bear Alexander, you get Xavier Weaver, you get Savion Smalls, and you get Big Tyler Brown. They got a lot of depth, right? When you're asking a team that really doesn't need anything to be able to have a good draft, I still think they came out with a solid draft. Now, the one question would be: was Xavier Weaver a first round pick, or was he a guy that could have went in the second or third round? Would have been a question. Did they reach and go get Xavier Weaver because of everybody else that began took him from him off the board and made him a first round pick, or do you think he's, pick 32? Do you think he can live up to pick 32?
We will find out.
You heard Coach Prime say he wants to get players that Shador is familiar with, right? So now you got Jimmy Horn Jr., you got Xavier Weezer, both players that played with him at Colorado, and even up front on the offensive line, bringing Big Tyler Brown in gives him another guy he's familiar with up front. So I like what they did, and then they go get Savion Smalls. That I think that was more of a Charles Kelly pick there. I like what they did, but I'm gonna say B plus because we know who they was attacking and who they really wanted. All those guys went off the board right away and killed them. So we come back tomorrow for the rounds 3 and 4 to see how both these teams continue to draft and how they do going forward. With that being said, Skadime, Skadaddles, we're out of here.